I am Tom Downey. Follow me on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. He's at Sportsy, and that's Harris Rubenstein. If you're just now joining us on Facebook or YouTube, we'll take you through all the stuff that's happened so far, a couple other rumors and stuff that we'll get to as well. And if other stuff happens here, we'll jump into that as well. But we'll start things off with probably the most expected move of the night. Kevin Durant has re-signed with the Golden State Warriors.
Always expected. This is what we thought was going to happen. This is what ended up happening. I like the 1-1 year deal for him. That way he can sign a Supermax, at least ask for a Supermax next offseason. We'll see what happens with that, though.
All right, so there Durant re-signs. Paul George has re-signed. It's not a 3-year and then an out deal, or a 2-year and out deal. It's actually a 3-year deal with an option to enter that after that 3rd year, entering the 4th year. That's a big deal for Kevin Durant. Or for Paul George, excuse me. That's a big deal for Paul George, and most importantly, that's a big deal for the Thunder. They have him locked up for an extended period of time, not even just one of those 1-and-1 deals. He's not going away anytime soon. That is a massive, massive win for the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight.
Look, as Sam Presti said in Paul George's free agency special, scared money don't make money. And $137 million given to Paul George is not scared money. I love Sam Presti, not because he is a fellow Emerson grad like myself, but this dude is so aggressive. He tries so hard to make a small market team act bigger than they are. They unfortunately lost Kevin Durant, but they were able to keep Russell Westbrook, and were able to now keep Paul George. Great move by Sam Presti and the Oklahoma City Thunder, being able to keep these guys. Just such a big move for their franchise.
It's a big win for the Thunder, and as for the Lakers, it is a bit of a loss early on. We'll see what else happens on that front, but it's not an ideal situation right now for Los Angeles. A lot of buzz around Boogie Cousins. We'll get back to them later. Chris Paul, he's up next here. Again, no surprise, he re-signed, or at least agreed to re-sign with the Houston Rockets.
And look, so great for Chris Paul. I mean, he gave up the Supermax in Los Angeles to make a real run at a title with Houston. Teams up with James Harden, a big-time experiment, with the Rockets and Mike D'Antoni that worked out in a really great way. Look, we were covering the entire NBA playoffs, as we do here, because we're the #1 NBA coverage anywhere on the internet. The Houston Rockets were in a situation where they could have beaten the Warriors if they had Chris Paul. And I think the Rockets saw that. I think Chris Paul saw that. I think that they're going to have a really fun season next year.
One of the earlier ones that actually came in technically before that 12:01 a.m. Eastern beginning point, Rudy Gay re-signed to a 1-year, $10 million deal with the Spurs, a little bit more than his $8.8 million player option.
Smart move for both sides. I think the best place for Rudy Gay to maybe get a multi-year deal next year is with the Spurs. And I think the best move for Rudy Gay, also from a playing perspective, from the Spurs perspective, is getting Rudy Gay back. Because if they do lose Kawhi Leonard, then they got to have someone out there on the wing who can score, and Rudy Gay is the perfect solution for that.
So a good addition there for Gay, who looked, I thought, pretty good for the Spurs. One of the guys that Pop managed to get the most out despite coming back off of that injury. Some more re-signings here for Denver. 2 of them in this case here. The big one, of course, Harris, was their big man.
Yeah, and for the Nuggets to be able to get Jokic on an extension, $146.5 million, a 5-year deal. I just want, where are they going to get all this cap space from? They're one of the most tightly strict cap teams right now. It's going to be an issue for the Nuggets going forward. Jamal Murray's going to need a new deal soon. I know they just drafted Michael Porter Jr., but they got to attach a first to someone and get some money off the books.
Speaking of Denver, they re-signed Will Barton, who, by the way, is actually no longer going to be a guard here. He is now going to be promoted to the Nuggets starting small forward here. So a little promotion there with an addition.
Yeah, and
with a contract.
And Will Barton, 4 years, 54, I think is good value. Him coming off the bench as the #3 guard for the Nuggets is good. They needed someone behind Murray and as well behind Gary Harris to come in and be able to fill it out. So I like it a lot. I like the re-signing for both sides. I think it's the best move for everyone.
All right, so there Barton re-signs with Denver. A non-re-signing, a player leaving his team, Doug McDermott heads to the Pacers after the Mavs removed his qualifying offer to make space for DeAndre Jordan. We'll get to in a minute, but he signs a 3-year, $22 million deal with Indiana, fully guaranteed.
It's kind of strange to see Dougie McDermott get $22 million, but if you can shoot, then you can shoot, and if you can shoot in the NBA, at least modern day, you're going to end up getting paid. Good move for the Pacers. They got to bring someone in who can shoot off the bench, and also someone that can match the size of Bogdanović, who had a really good year for them last year.
All right, Joe Harris, another sharpshooter, re-signed with the Brooklyn Nets on a 2-year, $16 million deal, Harris.
2 years, $60 million for Joe Harris with the Nets. I like it a lot simply because the Nets want to keep these guys in-house, especially because they're trying to rebuild. Don't have a ton of high first-round picks. Joe Harris has offered a lot of value as we go forward.
More shooters. Ersan Ilyasova heads to the Milwaukee Bucks on a 3-year, $21 million deal, Harris.
And this is kind of interesting. I thought he was going to go back to the 76ers. And also, I know that he can shoot, but if you're the Bucks, you need someone who can play defense. And they were one of the worst defensive teams in all of basketball. And then they sign a power forward who can't really play defense. So, weird signing for the Bucks, but this is a Mike Budenholzer guy. He was with the Hawks when Budenholzer was there. So, doesn't really surprise me too much, but I think Ersan will make a good impact for them.
And another big one, DeAndre Jordan is now heading to the Mavs. We'll see if he bails and changes his mind again, and if Mark Cuban is driving around town begging through text for his home address. I kid, we all know that was made up. But he's signed a 1-year deal worth about $24 million.
And good for DeAndre Jordan at 30 years old, getting $24 million. But it's interesting that he only got a 1-year deal. I really don't know what the future of DeAndre Jordan is in terms of his money. But getting a 1-year deal, $24 million, I think he just went to the Mavs and said, look, pay me and we'll figure out the rest later. We can come up with an extension. Maybe you trade me at the deadline if we're bad to a title contender. Long way to go for DeAndre Jordan in terms of how much money he's going to end up getting paid. But I like this a lot. So, Tom, you got a little breaking news. We'll get it to you in just a second.
We'll get there in a little bit here.
Let me get a couple Twitter questions. I got a question about the Miami Heat. They're in cap hell. They're not going to be great. One other question we had about the Los Angeles Clippers. They did bring in Kentavious Caldwell-Pope for a visit. They're going to meet with him. Weird kind of move for the Los Angeles Clippers. I don't really understand why they're bringing him in. They're trying to redo their entire guard lineup. And I don't really understand why Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is in charge of that. I mean, they drafted 2 guards already. They already have Milos Teodosic and Lou Williams. I don't really know where KCP fits in. So, long way to go with Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, but that 1-year proof deal with the Lakers was interesting. I can't really see them, making a huge deal to them.
All right, folks, so we do have that breaking news here for you guys. It involves Trevor Ariza. He's going to stay in the West, but he is headed to the Phoenix Suns on a 1-year, $15 million deal.
That's really interesting, seeing as they just traded for Mikal Bridges and they don't really have an outright spot for him on the wing. I mean, they drafted Josh Jackson last year. They now have Mikal Bridges, and now they have Trevor Ariza, and it's only a 1-year deal at $15 million.
They have all of the wings now.
I wonder if
play point guard.
I wonder if the Spurs or if the Suns are they making a run at the playoffs? Why, I guess, is the real question here. I mean, good for Ariza. I mean, $15 million with the Suns is not a bad contract for him at all, but I just wonder what the Suns' idea is.
It's
here.
a
What are they
big
looking
loss
for?
for Houston, though.
Yes.
That's a
big
notable
loss.
He's a very talented player, fit that role very, very well. So, yes, they keep Chris Paul, but now they lose Ariza in the end. We'll move now to a big man, Harris. Aron Baynes has re-signed with the Boston Celtics. 2 years, $11 million, has a player option after that first season.
And I like the 2-year, $11 million deal for the Celtics. He ended up being a big-time player for them in the playoffs. His three-point percentage went up in a big way. He's a good defensive presence for them down low. I think this is a sign that we don't fully trust Aron Baynes trust Robert Williams, who they just drafted. So we'll see what ends up happening with the Celtics going forward with how they rotate their centers. But Aron Baynes now, Robert Williams, Daniel Tice, and Al Horford is a great front court to build around if you're the Boston Celtics.
We'll go back to the Thunder here. Of course, they re-signed Paul George tonight. They also re-signed Jerami Grant, a 3-year, $27 million deal.
A good move for them. A good bench guy that can come off the pine and really do some work when Paul George needs a rest. Good perimeter defender. Can't really shoot the 3, but they got to keep this bench together. Jerami Grant proved to be a very talented player, especially as a slasher and a cutter. I think he's going to be a good player for them going forward.
We have a super chat here coming in. We'll get to that one. Keep those super chats coming throughout the show, folks, in the comment section. We'll get them up on screen. Luigi Underrated Jr. says, who should the Bulls go after? I think their first priority, Harris, is not going after somebody, but it's retaining Zach LaVine.
I can match this as well. Also had a Twitter question about the Bulls. We'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone. The Bulls need to re-sign Zach LaVine, and that is it. If you're the Bulls, get Zach LaVine back and figure out the rest next year. You're not in any spot right now to be spending big-time money on guys. Keep your money, get LaVine back, and move on.
All right, folks. So we'll keep you updated on the Bulls here. We'll have plenty of shows throughout the offseason here. A little surprised there hasn't been much interest so far in LaVine, but I'm sure that will change at some point. Those RFAs tend to not get a ton of interest on the first night. We do have a new signing, though, for you. Ed Davis has signed a one-year $4 million deal with the Brooklyn Nets. It's actually $4.4 million, excuse me.
Yeah, look, I thought Ed Davis was going to end up going to the Knicks as maybe a, kind of the starting four that they've been looking for, who's been really, really cheap. But the Nets ended up getting him, so they kind of stole someone from the Knicks. But the dude can rebound, and he's a good backup power forward. It won't be a huge impact player. Do you know what he will help? He's going to help turn Jarrett Allen into a better rebounder. I think they're bringing him in to be a little bit of a mentor. Super chat coming in.
2004, Mr. Spitfire. Had to think my way through that one. There were a lot of numbers on there. I'm not good with math. PG-13 stays in OKC, says Kawhi possibly the Celtics, LeBron James where?
Lakers.
I know you don't think Kawhi is going to go to the Celtics.
Nope.
You think LA for both?
Kawhi Leonard is not going to the Boston Celtics. If the Celtics wanted Kawhi Leonard, he would already be a Celtic. He would already been a Celtic. They have the package. They can get it done. They just haven't made it happen yet. LeBron's going to Lakers, though. I think that's kind of in the books at this point. It hasn't, the ink isn't dry, I guess is how it goes.
Yeah, and keep those super chats coming. We'll bring them up on air for you guys tonight. The NY Bully back again. Says, would LeBron have a better chance with Cleveland or LA? Here's how I'll answer this one. If you want to make it to the finals, I think it's still Cleveland. If you want to have the best chance to win the finals, I think it's LA, because I think the Lakers, if neither team has LeBron, has the better roster.
I also think that LeBron's fit with the Lakers is great. I mean, if they keep Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma, Mo Wagner, Lonzo Ball, this is a good young team to build around. I'm a big fan of LeBron going to Lakers just because I think it's going to be a very fun team in general. And I like fun teams. In NBA, I just want to make this clear. I don't hate any team. I don't hate anyone, but I love fun teams. I think LeBron going to Lakers makes them one of the more fun teams in the NBA.
Again, folks, keep your comments going as to where you think LeBron will sign this summer. We don't think he's going to sign tonight, although it would be pretty funny if LeBron did it at like 4 a.m.
That'd be crazy.
Which would actually be terrible because no one will be awake for that one. But we do also want to know, who are the early NBA free agency winners and losers? Harris, I know that I mentioned at the top of the hour that I thought the Thunder were the big winner. Do you have another winner from tonight?
Houston. Just being able to keep your relationship with Chris Paul at a place where you can pay him that kind of money and both sides be happy. Look, they have to keep this unit together. So good move for Chris Paul and good move for the Rockets.
I'll actually disagree with you. Yes, Chris Paul is a winner, but Houston lost Trevor Ariza. That, I think, is actually a big blow for them. That's actually something that I think prevents them from being a true winner tonight. We mentioned that earlier. Ariza has signed with the Phoenix Suns. I'll throw out another potential winner here. It's an easy one. Golden State Warriors re-signed Kevin Durant. Obviously very expected, but that's not a big surprise there. I didn't think there were any major overpays. There was no Timothy Mozgov this year. Nothing along those lines that stunned everybody and was just a head-scratching decision. I think maybe the most questionable one to me might have been Doug McDermott or Jerami Grant at 3 years, $22 and 3 years, $27 million instead.
Mm-hmm. I think what you said, though, about the Rockets with Trevor Ariza, I mean, it's just losing a player like him is big, but a one-year, $15 million deal is really interesting. I wonder, the Suns must know something about their roster that we don't. Maybe there's another big move that they're trying to get ready. We'll see what happens out with the Suns. I like what we're going to be looking forward to.
All right, Neil Gosh here, the Super Chat Big Man, says, if LBJ signs for the Lakers, who is the best player in the East? It's a good one.
That's a very good question. A lot of people are going to say Ben Simmons. A lot of people are going to say maybe a Joel Embiid as well. I mean, just going through the teams, Kyrie Irving is certainly up there. Al Horford is certainly up there. Giannis is definitely a candidate for that now. Actually, you know what? Giannis. In terms of an individual player, it's got to be Giannis. I think Giannis probably is the most talent overall in terms of individual players.
Boston fans are upset you did not mention Kyrie Irving.
I did say Kyrie Irving. I said Kyrie's on the list as well, as is Gordon Hayward and Al Horford.
Right. Again, folks, keep those comments coming here. Keep them updated throughout the show. Any other losers for you in NBA free agency, Harris?
Losers, as of right now, the Lakers. Honestly, the biggest losers for me, I want to make this clear. The loser for me is the Pacers, and the loser also is Paul George. You go through this whole saga with the Pacers. You force them their hand to make them trade you because you want to go to the Lakers in free agency anyway, and then you sign a deal with a Thunder when you could have signed a Supermax with the Pacers. I just don't really understand why Paul George did that to the Pacers and then signed this deal with the Thunder and didn't end up going to the Lakers. So the Pacers and Paul George, to me, are kind of a loser here.
All right, folks, get those comments in the comments section. And we'll take it now back to Paul George.